Also, Ted Nugent is with us now. Ted Nugent, welcome to the program, sir.
I feel welcome. Thank you very much, Glenn.
So you are you've been attacked because of because you have had a picture taken. I guess this is their problem. You've had a picture taken with you in an Indian headdress with a gun, and they are saying that you are being racist now. So now you hate the Native American.
Well, I got to tell you, Glenn, it doesn't get any crazier than what we witness every day. But I'm proud to say on the Glenn Beck radio show that the American Indian has no better friend than Ted Nugent. I've been working with the Native tribes since the early 1970s. I've probably been invited into every reservation, certainly into every tribe.
Well, I mean, if I may just interrupt here for a second, Great White Buffalo, I know enough to know that's against the white man, isn't it?
Yeah, it identifies that the Indians lived hand in hand as a conservation entity, and then, of course, Manifest Destiny came along and wiped that out. But I've been contacted by all the tribes, like I said, Glenn, about the song Great White Buffalo, and many of them have adapted that song and embraced that song as the actual legend of their white buffalo spiritual leader. I mean, the intimate relationship I've had with all the tribes being invited into their schools and to teach the children. Literally, I don't know how it works, but somehow the Motor City Madman was invited into many Indian tribes to teach their children about the history of the bow hunting lifestyle and the appreciation of God's gifts of food and clothing and shelter and medicine and tools and spirit in the hunting lifestyle. And they've been inviting me for many years, for certainly 40 years, to talk to their children about being clean and sober, and that my lifestyle as a white guy, though I'm hard to accept that designation, is more in the Indian tradition than many of the Indians themselves. So I've had nothing but not just respect, Glenn, but deep reverence, and it's been reciprocal. I mean, I can just name my friends inviting me to the sweat lodges and to hunt the buffalo with them with the Apaches, the Assiniboine, the Gros Ventre, the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, the Ojibwe, the Blackfoot, the Lakota, the Sioux, the Dakota, the Cherokee, the Nez Perce. I have a spiritual blood brother relationship with these Indians, and then the left literally creates the nastiest, hateful lie they can, that I put quotes around words attributed to me, Glenn, claiming that I called my red brothers unclean vermin, which I've never said in my life. They created that out of whole cloth, and I'm here to clarify that on the Glenn Beck.
Okay, so hang on just a second. Where do they say that? Because this was Huffington Post, right?
Probably that or the MoveOn.org, but they're all.
So where did they get this? Where did they get this?
Well, I was doing an interview. It was back when the tour started, because some of these, I got to tell you, it's really hysterical. I got to video this stuff. They bust these American Communist Party freaks in to protest my concerts, and I've actually had guys go out and ask them, pleasantly, politely, why are you here? And they just start screaming, Nugent's a racist, and they go, well, what makes you say that? And they're holding these placards. They're literally being bussed in, and these people are so stupid, they still have their American Communist regalia on. They're still wearing their American Communist badges, literally right there to be seen.
Do you remember, Stu, where were we? I think we were on a tour with Bill O'Reilly, and they bust these communists in. It was like in North Carolina or South Carolina, remember that? And they were across the street, and they were communists, and we went by them, and they had bust these communists in, and all these communists were holding signs, Glenn Beck's a racist, Glenn Beck, blah, 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 blah. Same thing, Ted. And we go by them, and we were going, rapidly, but as we're going by them, I look, and I'm seeing the red flags, and I'm like, these guys, I'm proud. I am proud to be picketed. I think we even said that on stage when we walked out. I'm proud to be picketed by communists.
Hello? Well, that's why I called you, because a lot of people, this is so insane that most people would say, as if they would bust in protesters for the Ted Nugent concert. Well, I'm glad that I have a friend in Glenn Beck who has actually witnessed it.
Oh, yeah, no, they've done it to us. So, so then where did they get the vermin thing?
Well, because I did an interview, and it was a radio show and a TV show and a writer, and of course I'm giving them a generous identification because I don't think any of them really qualify as anything close to journalists. But then they quoted me inaccurately because I saw these people, and they are unclean. They're nasty, crazy people. They stink. They smell bad. I had to go through the protesters to get to my concert. And so I called them unclean vermin. I think the term unclean vermin accurately describes Communist Party members bust in to protest my concert to just make the concert that much more fun.
Now, may I just say, I mean, you can see that calling someone unclean vermin might not be the best choice of words for anyone, especially since, you know, we've heard other people in other time periods refer to communists as unclean vermin, and it didn't end well.
That's my point. I will say what I say. I'm a street fighter. When they attack me with this kind of insanity, I'm going to identify them the way I identify them. And I got to tell you, I don't think there's any sticks or stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me, that are inaccurate when it comes to identifying communist protesters at my gigs. So I'm not ashamed of calling them unclean vermin. They're communists. They were bust in.
But
they
it had nothing to do.
They don't know why they're there.
It had nothing to do with Native Americans, though, right?
Nothing. No, there were no Native Americans there. This was before any of this even happened.
Yeah.
I was identifying the protester. And I got to tell you, if you Google this stuff, you'll see that some of the other liberal writers who absolutely hate me and lie about me often have identified my statements to the protesters and said, how can you claim that Nugent said this about the Indians when he identified it as the protesters outside his show in Connecticut and New Jersey? They were protesters. There were no Indians there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. So thank you for allowing me to clarify this.
So,
but I got to tell you, Glenn, the people here in America, I'm having the greatest tour of my life. The energy, the positive spirit at every gig is absolutely immeasurable. So good, intelligent, educated people get it. Unclean vermin, not so much.
Oh, Ted, I love you.
Awesome.
So
All
the
right,
point is I revere my relationship with all my good fellow man, especially the Native Americans whose lifestyle I emulate. I absolutely, I pay tribute to them in song, in my writings. They are the source of my spiritual life. That lifestyle of being one with the earth and understanding God's gifts of natural creation.
Right.
Why Thanksgiving is during the hunting season.
I will tell you that